Hello everybody, welcome back to the F-14 project. Last video we did inlets, ducting. This is actually the third one I've done. Told you guys in that last video that I was going to pop in the video when I go to pull it out. I didn't do that, but this inlet was done exactly like the video. This inlet, which is the second one, I did slightly different. I just laid it all up and then just cut it, and then I pulled it off and seamed it with a piece of 3-ounce glass. It's a strip about 2 inches wide, put two ply on it, and that's what we got here. It's just as strong as it was before cutting it. I was hoping that I could get it off in one piece without having to cut it down the center, but that wasn't going to happen. If I had my air compressor, it probably would, but I don't, so whatever. The first one, the reason why I've done 3 is I tried the free coat mold release on just that metal mold or whatever you want to call it, without any. I cleaned it, I sealed it, and then I put the free coat on. And before I did the layup, the paint kind of felt a little tacky, which I just assumed that it wasn't completely dry yet because it was a little cool the day I painted it. But when I went to peel it off, or when I went to pull the layup off, it ended up pulling a lot of the surface off. It stuck in a lot of places, and some of the filler came out on it, and it was just a nightmare. So I had to fix the plug, or the mold, whatever you want to call it, and that took a little bit of time. Here's the first one. You can see the overlap here with just a couple pieces of tape holding it together. It worked out really well, but everywhere you see the red stuff is where it's stuck. And then the layup itself was really bad. It kind of wrinkled in places and didn't stick down. So this was kind of a failure, but not really. Yeah, let me know that my flange idea of just overlapping it with some peel ply and tape and all would actually work out really well, which it did. And then I forgot to do that on this one, and that's why I had to cut it. So anyway, there's one done. Like I said, this layup was done like the one in the previous video. So I figured I'd pop up the video camera and let you guys see the whole unwrapping. Hopefully this one comes off as good as that one. I just went back to regular wax and PVA method, which I should have done that to begin with, but I was hoping that free coat would work because a buddy of mine has been using the free coat on painted surface, but his painted surface was a polyester material that dries like really hard and it's not very porous compared to mine was kind of porous. So I'm guessing that was the reason for the issues of mine, is the porous surface just kind of softened the paint or the surface color, which then soaked into the primer. And then it kind of like made it all, it kind of softened it to where it all became one big lump of stuff. That didn't work. See, I did put down some perforated plastic. I didn't do that on the first one, and it was an absolute nightmare of peeling this tweeter material off. It took probably 45 minutes to half an hour to peel this stuff off. So the perforated plastic is definitely a time saver. And it keeps you from sucking out too much epoxy to make the layup dry in areas. And if you're careful and you don't rip perforated plastic, you can reuse it 2 or 3 times, maybe more, just depends on how careful you are and what you're doing. Sometimes if I have a really big piece and I get a hole in the middle of it, I'll just cut out a little strip around that hole, and then I'll use it on a smaller layup. Like I'll take a piece from the wing and I'll cut it And then I'll use it for like horizontal stab or vertical stab or something like that. It's just all about being careful when you pull it off. You can get it off without really tearing it up too much. Start here at the edges for the front rear ends on the peel ply. Just kind of get it started. Alright, now we're down here at the edge where it overlaps. Just take pull the one side of the layup here up off the plug forming all with the peel ply. As I rip it, because it's stuck, good thing for fiberglass ball. I have to fix that now. But whatever, it's just a little ordeal. Pull the peel ply off the overlapping flange here. Now I'll take the other piece of peel ply that's on the bottom portion of it. Peel that off as well. Here and start peeling it off the plug here. Which sometimes is a little easier said than done. There we go. It's just kind of like a taco, it just opens right up and pops right off. So as I've been peel ply here, that I somehow missed. only thing about that piece of plastic between the two is it puts a nice thick layer of epoxy over this inner layer of peel quad, so it makes a real pain in the butt to peel away. In hindsight, I should put a piece of perforated plastic. That way, it's able to suck some epoxy out right there. But something I can do the next one. Well, that's good enough. So I get it in here. Looking from the front here, you can see how there's no paint there, and there's paint on that side. So all you have to do is just slide the two together, join up the seams, a little bit of epoxy down there in between them, put a piece of tape here, or a piece of fiberglass tape over that seam, and then you've got yourself a nice little, got a nice overlapping flange on the on your inlet ducts. So that'll be 2 ducts right there, and then the metal mold and everything will go back in my stack of molds. Still suffering a little bit of sticking in it in places. So I have to fix a couple spots on there, mostly that one there. But it's pretty dang good. Just have to wax it a lot more, or mow better, as some people would say. So that's done. Other progress I've done, I machined up a few more parts. These things are, one's not too bad. There's the air data temp probe or whatever on the nose cone. See, it's all nice and pretty machined aluminum. And then there is that. Yeah, that little tiny thing. That's the angle of attack probe for the nose of the airplane. Again, machined aluminum. I'm going to use this one as a template to cast these out of resin. And this one was just kind of a prototype that I machined up real quick by hand, just to see how well it would work and get the dimensions, to make sure the dimensions for my CAD drawings are all correct. These will all be machined aluminum for all the airplanes, and these are actually what hold on the nose cone. So here at the end, it's threaded for 440 or 632. I haven't decided yet. Probably this one's 440, but there'll be a nice long threaded in. It'll go off that. It'll slide in the nose cone. You spin it on by hand into a little bulkhead with a blind nut or a captive nut or whatever, and some structure in the nose cone, and that'll hold that on. So the nose cone will be completely concealed as far as attachments go. So that's really all I've done the past couple of days. Still got the material for closing up the fuselage. I gotta get the bulkheads cut out. My buddy Chris has been a little busy with life, so I haven't been able to get over there and twist his arm to cut that stuff out for me. Hopefully, I was hoping to have it closed up by the end of the month, but that was yesterday. So maybe by the end of November I'll have it closed up. I need to order some actuators for the wing sweep mechanism anyway, so I can start getting the design for those mounts and all that done, and then the control boards. Another thing I'm looking at doing is having 2 control setups, or 2 positions for the sweep actuators. The first one will be a normal flying position, which will allow the wings to go back to a maximum of the 63 degrees of sweep, or whatever it is, the 60 degrees. I forget the exact number. But then on the ground there will be an armed safety switch somewhere inside the airplane, where you flip the switch with power on, and it'll actually move the actuators all the way back to the oversweep position, that they would typically use for like parking them on the carrier. And with them in the oversweep position, the wingspan is the same as a horizontal stab span. So what this will allow you to do is allow you to fit it in a 6x12 enclosed trailer with the wings and the tail set and the horizontal stabs still on board or still attached to the airplane. So there's no need to have removable wings or removable stabs or anything. Granted, they could be removed if you really had to. It'll just be a little bit more time to put it together at the flying field or the airport or wherever you're flying at. But I think the oversweep option is a good option for those who have the room and don't want to have to spend half hour, an hour putting the airplane together. They just pull it out, top off the batteries, put some fuel in it, and go fly. I mean, 5 minutes of prep work compared to a half hour of prep work is a heck of a lot better in my eyes. But that's where I'm at right now. Honestly, I don't have a whole lot more to do. I'm gonna seam this up, which I do a video, but it's kind of pointless to do when I think there's not a whole lot to see. It's just a little bit of epoxy there on each side of the seam and a piece of glass. And honestly, with this overlap, I probably won't even do a piece of glass. I'll probably just put a piece of masking tape there and a couple of clamps to hold it together, and that'll be it. And then I'll clean up the ends of it and wash the PVA out of it, throw another coat of primer on, and start trying to get those installed. But that's all I've got for the moment. If I might pull the flaps out and start laying up some flaps, making up templates and all that stuff. So if I do that, I might pop in the video camera and give you guys some more stuff to watch. But until then, I guess we'll see you guys back here in the shop. See ya.